unethical or unlawful.
President Biden gave a pretty harsh assessment of the investigation into his son, Hunter. He basically threw the Justice Department under the bus there for those investigations. And Democrats, including you, were relentlessly harsh against special counsel Robert Hur for making an observation that proved pretty accurate about how Joe Biden might appear to a jury as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I was critical of that for good reason, and that is you don't put gratuitous personal observations like that in a prosecutorial memo. You just don't. And it was done for a political reason. So it's not that everyone, including special counsels, necessarily follow DOJ policy the way I believe they should. And when they don't, I call it out. And as indeed I did, I disagreed with the president's comments about the prosecution of his own son. But nevertheless, I think the discredit that has been brought on the Justice Department has been the product of a multi-year campaign to discredit the department as some kind of warfare, lawfare vehicle, as some kind of deep state, which is deeply damaging nonsense. So I think that's what's really discredited the hardworking people in the Justice Department. Now they're going to have one of the leading conspiracy theorists of the deep state, Kash Patel, potentially running the FBI, if he's confirmed. And all I could say is God help us if that's the case.
I think we can move on, but I think Robert Hur would say he needed to...
Yeah. Like they're all going to be confirmed. Pencil neck. Pencil neck for prison. Put your hands behind your back.
Explain why he wasn't going to prosecute President Biden for what he thought was a violation of the law. But let's move on from that subject. Do you think any of Trump's picks are not going to be confirmed?
I really don't know.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
They're all being confirmed. It's ridiculous, man. Got criminals pardoning criminals and pardoning his whole family 15 minutes before leaving office. A disgrace, man. Pencil Nick gotta go for prison, man. I'm just being honest with y'all, man. You know, they've ended his career many times and exposed this man many times. He got to put his hands behind his back. I'm just saying. Let's check this out, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Shout out to them Patriots, y'all. We on the ground running, baby. We are on the ground running.
Joining me now is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He received a preemptive pardon from President Biden today. He also attended today's inauguration. There is so much I want to get to with you, Senator Schiff. I just have to start. I mean, in the last hour, Donald Trump was in the Oval Office, which I see as a choice, and just pardoned 1,500 people convicted for the attack on our Capitol.
Freed them Patriots on day one. Yes, indeed. We got our sweet revenge. Should have never taken place. Would have never taken place. But you sit up here talking to a corrupt individual that played a part in it. Ma'am. And he ought to put his hands, but they ought to come on live on set and get him. He ought to be arrested live on MSNBC set. Fake news. He ought to be made an example out of.
You did so much important work on the January 6th committee. You have never held back in talking about the impact of this on our country. What is going through your head right now?
Oh,
it's obscene. It's a grotesque display of his new power as president to pardon these 1,500 or 1,600 people, which I have to imagine includes people that committed violent assaults on law enforcement. It certainly includes, apparently, one of the leaders of the Proud Boys. Rather fitting, sadly, that among his very first acts in office is to give a pardon to a white nationalist leader like that. So hard to imagine that we were sitting in the Capitol, the site of that attack, and hours later, the man who incited that attack pardons the people who participated in that attack. It really is a terrible way to begin, but not a surprising way to begin the new administration.
He ought to be arrested.
I think it's so important, and I suspect you'd agree with me, that we not get numb to this as a number. It is a big number, but there are so many people here in this group who committed acts of violence, committed crimes against our country. You investigated this attack as closely as anyone. What kinds of crimes, just remind us, are people essentially getting off the hook for?
Oh, boy.
Well, they beat police officers with flagpoles. They beat them with metal barricades. They bear sprayed them. They gouged them. They crushed one of them in a revolving door. It was a violent assault. They desecrated the Capitol. They were trying to find Mike Pence to hang him. They were ransacking Nancy Pelosi's office looking to do harm to her as well, while her staff were hiding in a conference room listening to the sounds of those attackers inside the building. It was chaos. And but for these brave Capitol Police
officers. We're going to put Mike on the wall. We're going to put Mike on the wall. Traitor. Hey, man, he ought to be arrested live on set, man. Live on MSNBC set. He ought to be arrested.
Officers, there would have been, I think, much greater loss of life as it was. Many people died. And to, on a blanket basis, give a pardon like that, to call them political prisoners, is just abhorrent. It also brings to mind Pam Bodney's testimony, frankly, where I pressed her on the prospect of these pardons, and she was quite adamant about how she was going to go one by one through all of the pardon requests and make a factual basis to the president. Well, we saw how long that commitment lasted.
What does that tell you about her ability to do her job independently?
Well, either she advised the president not to do this, which I sincerely doubt, or she has no influence over the president, because it was clear that he was not going over these one by one to make a mass grant of a pardon like this. It was his, way of trying to once again rewrite history. But history will not be rewritten, notwithstanding these pardons, notwithstanding all the big lies he continues to propagate. And he was in the Capitol again propagating lies about Nancy Pelosi. We're going to continue to push back against those falsehoods.
And they ought to walk out with our hands behind our back, too. But I'm so glad we won, man. And we won because of people like Pencil Neck. What Trump called him, Watermelon Head. All kind of nicknames. But this again, he ought to be made an example out of live on set, man. That's what I really want. That they just come in there and arrest him live on this set. And he ought to be held accountable for real. And this lady here kills me too. This lady kills me, man. I kind of want to just end the video because I'm getting sick of hearing her mouth. Legacy media, the fake news that they kill me, man. And I'm glad Trump did what he did. We are so back. We are so back. And guess what, Pencil Neck? Everybody's getting confirmed, sir. Like everybody's getting confirmed. Hope you're ready. Buckle up.
But this is part of that effort that he is making to absolve himself of the responsibility for the first, since the Civil War, the first effort to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power.
The lawyer for former Proud Boys chairman Enrico Tarrio, who we've heard a lot about, we've talked a lot about, told NBC News his client is already being processed for release from federal prison because of clemency for Trump. He was sentenced in 2023 after being convicted of seditious conspiracy in one of the highest profile January 6 prosecutions you know well. You spent a lot of time investigating him. I mean, we just heard from his mother. We haven't confirmed it independently, but talk about him a little bit. What is your reaction to the prospect of Tarrio being released?
Well, he was one of the leadership of one of these white nationalist groups that participated, that came to January 6th well equipped with the vests and the plastic handcuffs and other things that they used or intended to use on that day, and to pardon him, I think is very symbolic of where the president is coming from. It, to me, harkens back to his statement vis-a-vis the Proud Boys years earlier, where he said, stand back and stand by, or something along those lines. Well, apparently he had their back after all, as we see in this most offensive of pardons.
He also commuted the sentence of Stewart.
Pardon, they have already exposed your guilt. You know.
Rhodes, who was sentenced, just to remind everyone, to 18 years for a seditious conspiracy. I'm asking you this because I want to remind people of who these people are, and you know them who they are very well. Talk about Stewart Rhodes' role in what happened on January 6th, and what you may think it means that he was on the list.
She is such a scum.
Well, these are, two of what I would consider ringleaders of this.
Ringleaders.
The seditious conspiracy is one of the most serious charges that the prosecutors would bring. It's not something that is easily proven. It's not something that is frequently charged. It's very seldom been charged in our history. So these were people that the Justice Department considered most complicit in the violence of that day, in the planning of it, in the conspiring to make it happen. January 6th didn't come by all by itself. It wasn't spontaneous. A lot of it was planned. So these are some of the ringleaders that are now being given this pardon in the president's first day. And if this is just the first day of this second term, imagine what there is to come.
Hope you're ready, sir. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready, Pencil Neck. I hope you are ready. Because them Patriots is ready. Oh, man, we are so back. And it feels good. I love y'all, man. Let me know what y'all think of this. I can't stand anymore. MSNBC, this Jen, I can't. I just can't do it, y'all. I can't do it. But we are back, and I'm ready to see what takes place. People need to be held accountable, man. They expose his and many others' guilt. If you're innocent, you don't need a pardon. But Pencil Neck for prison. We are so back. I love you guys. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life. We are on the ground running. We got a lot of things to get into today. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and love, family.